Hello. In this short video, I just wanted to quickly share something that we often see happening at our clients, and it's caused by not having, before we started our partnership, not having a machine that's consistently bringing in new revenue for your business, and why that is impacting your development capacity. It's something, like I mentioned, that we often see happening, and it's something that can be easily avoided, but it's also something that, if not avoided, has a big impact on your business. I am going to use my fantastic drawing skills in my lovely Miro board. Um, like I mentioned, not having that consistent machine and being reliant on, for example, partners that bring in new revenue, networking, and unreliable channels such as, for example, Google Ads. You might have experimented with them a little, something like Facebook ads or something like posting on social media, doing SEO, whatever. You have a lot of channels that don't bring any consistency and need, for example, if we take Google Ads or Facebook ads, need a lot of budget to actually start testing your proposition. And yeah, if you want to scale, let's say you get good results from Google Ads. If you want to scale that, you would need to double. If you want double the revenue, you need to double your budget as well. And of course, that's okay as long as revenue is consistently coming in. But if you scale your revenue, you need to scale your ad budget, which is, of course, yeah, adding more costs and costs and costs to the business, which is ideally not something that you want. You want to look for a revenue generating machine that comes with costs that you can keep as close to zero as possible. So what's happening very often is that, let's say you start something, or you go to a networking event, and this is your revenue graph. So this is the start of the year and this is the end of the year. So again, don't mind my fantastic drawing skills, because this is not really easy to draw on. But what's happening a lot is that you go to a networking event, and this is your revenue, or this is like the amount of new qualified pipeline that you generate. And you go to a networking event, or you do some sort of promotion, and this is rising, 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 rising. And of course, you are bringing in new customers. So you need more developers and more capacity to successfully fulfill that new work that you are bringing in. What happens often if you don't have that consistent machine, and if it's just like a networking machine, or if it's just like some partner that has brought in like a big client for you, but it's not a channel that you can actually rely on, is that okay? At this point, you might start hesitating, like, I don't know if I have the enough capacity, or even have the capacity to actually fulfill this work that I'm bringing in without sacrificing quality, which is, of course, a big one. You need to keep your quality standard at a certain level to ensure that you can charge premium prices, that your customers are happy, and that you can collect great case studies, which you can leverage later on. So at this point, you are probably going to consider hiring new developers, which are, of course, massively sought after. Good developers are scarce at the moment, and you need good developers, senior developers, to actually lead projects and get those good results. You start like thinking of bringing on new developers at this point, because you need them to fulfill the work that just came in. Then, after, the revenue dips again, because you don't have a reliant channel, or you don't have a consistent machine that generates new revenue for you. So you're at this point, and then you might have a little thing like this again, and then you consolidate for a while, and then you go like this. And at this point, you're like, maybe you've brought on a developer, and you're like, oh shit, I don't have any work for them right now. I don't know what to do with them. I've invested a lot of money into a recruitment agency or into the person itself, and right now I don't have to work for them to actually do new stuff. Your revenue dips. You got another referral from a partner which brought in a little less revenue, but it's something you can work on for now. Then, like I mentioned, consolidate, another new spike in revenue. And this is usually how a lot of companies go through the year. So you might have one big spike if you get, I don't know, whatever, some government client, or like a big wheel client. But the dips again, you need time to actually fulfill this work, because with high budgets come high expectations and high requirements and high needs that you actually need to fulfill on. And this is how a lot of companies go through the entire year. What you need to do, and what is like your ideal case, let's duplicate this graph for now. So we take this down and place this down here. Let's delete this one. We don't need it. Let's delete our fantastic drawing as well. And then we are going to make a new fantastic graph. You want to get to a point where you know that, and I've covered it in different videos, where you get to a point where you know that when the next day comes and you wake up and the day after and the day after that, you have new discovery calls, new sales calls, new like go/no-go calls scheduled in your diary to ensure that you can actually have confidence in the forecast that you make. So instead of like at this point, you, for example, you're on top of the world, you're like, oh, we brought in a lot of new revenue. We have this massive goals. I want to get to this point at this moment on my revenue graph, but you don't have the way to actually get there, and you don't have the formula to actually evidence the results that you want to get to, if that makes sense. You want to get to a point where you're like, okay, I've sent this many emails, or I've sent this many outbound messages that will bring me this many calls, and I have a closing rate of 40%. So it will bring me, based on my average ticket size, it will bring me this amount of revenue. And that is, of course, the goal that you want to get to, and that is what we help our clients with, because that consistency is key, and it will bring you peace of mind. So you want to get to a point where, let's say at the start of the year, you implement new processes, we start a partnership, whatever your way of generating new revenue will be. And you get to a point where you scale your revenue. I need to select the one that I want to use and don't move my camera. But you get to a point where you start the process and you see a spike in revenue. And it's the same as the above, but at this point, you know that this increase in revenue didn't come from like one partner referral, but it came from sending like 1,000 emails, for example. At this point, what we usually advise our clients is that when you bring in new revenue, you consolidate for like a few weeks. If you don't have like the great capacity that you can say like, okay, I want to scale really hard and I have the capacity to actually fulfill. What you then do is, okay, we consolidate for a bit so we don't grow as quickly, but we still grow. And at this point, I am going to look for like 3 new developers, or let's say you start with 1. Just start with 1 for now, and then later on you send more messages. You scale like the volume that you do with your cold outreach. Your revenue grows a little more and a little more and a little more. See, you don't get the big spikes, but you get like the consistent and like the forecastable revenue. And at this point, you, for example, 4 months have passed right now, and over this time frame, you have sent, let's say, 5,000 or 10,000 emails, whatever the volume is. And based on those stats, you know that for the last 4 months, you've sent 10K emails. You've booked from those 10K, you've booked 100 discovery calls, you've booked 40 sales calls, and of them, you've closed 20%. It's really likely that the results that you've gotten over 4 months, of course, it's a decent time frame to actually say, okay, these are consistent. So at this point, you can be like, okay, right now I know that I'm consistently bringing in new revenue, so I can go ahead and hire a really good developer, so an Accenture developer, whatever you want to do, or you go for like 3 or 4 more juniors, but you have the peace of mind that you can actually do that and know that it won't be a problem because you got that consistent generating machine in place. So you take on, let's say, 3 developers, and then we know you can feed back to us. Okay, I have the capacity right now. My employees are onboarded. They know my processes, and we can scale even further. What we do is we up the volume because at this point, you know what works in regards to outreach. And for us, it's just a matter of scaling the volume. So we can go for an increase like this, for example. Later on, you get to a point where you need more developers, need more stuff, need more resources. And it's not only in regards to those resources, it's not only the developers that you need, but you also need the resources to invest in like your infrastructure and into new training modules and whatever comes with like scaling your business. You will need different, you will get different expenses, and you will need more resources to actually get those employees onboarded or offer them new training. I don't know, add something to your service fulfillment that will make you stand out from your market even more. You need that revenue to actually do that. And of course, if your revenue graph looks like this, you are not going to invest in new softwares or in new, new resources that would accelerate your service fulfillment, because it could be that you will break even for the next 2 or 3 months because it's such a big investment. And with having a consistent client acquisition machine in place, you have the peace of mind that you can actually do certain investment, whether it be resources or actual people. You have the peace of mind that you can actually do something like that without having sleepless nights over, can I make this certain decision, or do I need to sell my house if this goes wrong? That's a worst case scenario, but you probably get what I mean. Like I think I mentioned it during the video, what we do. My name is Fan, by the way. Together with my co-founder Wesley, we help software development companies do exactly this and get to this outcome point where we get a generating machine, revenue generating machine in place, with your entire go-to-market strategy set up, with your lead gen covered, setting up your sales process, supporting you with sales recruitment, and making sure that we get your company ready to scale to that next level. So if you would like to know more about, okay, how can I get this process in place, or if you want a consultation on what we do for our clients, feel free to book a call on this page, on my LinkedIn profile, or on our website. Wherever you are right now, feel free to book in a call if you'd like to know more about what our service could do for your company. On the call, we would dig into where you are at right now, where you want to go to, what you have tried in the past, and if there could be a possible match between our two companies. So I hope this was helpful and maybe gave you some insights. I look forward to meeting you on a call. Thank you, and see you in the next video.